Hey everyone, welcome to the program. We're going to be talking tonight about light and color therapy. This is a presentation I recently gave to a group on what are the basics, how to do it, what are some of the historical perspectives on light and color. So I hope you enjoy the show. Here we go. So what I want to talk about is light and color therapy. And this subject is near and dear to me because I have been working with light and color therapy basically since 19 ago. And when we talk about color and light, they're more than just visual stimuli. But color is basically an energetic frequency that influences the nervous system, our brain, our emotions, our body. And each color carries a vibrational signature that is going to do something to our consciousness and awareness. And so we're going to dive deeply into color and light. And I'm going to talk about some of the research that I've done over the years. So I call this an inquiry into light and color. So the first thing I want to say is full spectrum vision occurs when we engage with full spectrum light. And when we engage in full spectrum light, then we have a full spectrum life. When we're in artificial light, that's going to shut us down. You know, my first office, I had about 4 administrative assistants in the front. People would check out, after their appointment with me. And we used to accept a lot of insurances. And back then, vision therapy was covered by a lot of insurance. But there was always conflict and fighting and just a lot of intensity in the front office area. So one Sunday, I went in and I changed all the fluorescent light fixtures to full spectrum fluorescent lights. There were about 8 of them in there. We had a big office. And I didn't tell the staff because I wanted to do an experiment and see, well, if we move into full spectrum fluorescent lighting, is that going to change the mood? And what I began noticing the first day, that Monday, is that it was more chill up there. People, especially the employees, were more relaxed. The patients were more relaxed. And I remember 2 weeks later, we'd had an office meeting, and I asked the staff up there, I said, are you feeling any difference up there? And they said, it's kind of weird. We don't really know why. And so I told them that I had put in full spectrum fluorescent lights. And they went, oh, yeah, I do feel more relaxed. I'm not as irritated. I'm not as agitated. I don't feel as anxious. And it seems like the patients feel better. And there have been a number of studies done on the benefits of full spectrum light versus artificial light. If you think about artificial light as like artificial food, it's not life affirming. Now, our receptivity to the visible color spectrum, as it increases, this starts to improve our eyesight and vision. I've actually seen differences in heart rate variability, breathing, and other tests. There's a test that I use called a GDV camera. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Or I can measure your energy fields, your chakras, and your acupuncture meridian. A pretty groundbreaking research tool. Color therapy goes way back. Egyptians, Romans, Greeks, Chinese, they all used color and light to heal the body. In recent times, color therapy has helped for seasonal affective disorder, depression, anxiety, and detoxification. I have many colleagues in acupuncture who do something called color puncture, and they actually place color lights on the acupuncture points. There's also an energy healing called radionics, comes from the UK. Even meditation, if you meditate with color, it can have positive effects. So color therapy has both biological and physiological effects on our mental health. It can help reduce pain and inflammation. That's the red light, photobiomodulation. It can improve neonatal jaundice. It can enhance alertness, memory, reaction time, mood, and trigger relaxation. So what is light? What is it? David Bohm, a theoretical physicist, said, and I'm quoting David, light is energy, and it's also information, content, form, and structure. It is the potential of everything. Professor Fritz Albert Popp, one of his quotes is, when a cell is in optimal health, it responds to all the colors of the visible spectrum equally. He also said, we are made of photonic energy. So we emanate light. We're like a light bulb. So light is made up of photons, and photons are formless and visible, and they're without attributes. Seeing can be described as feeling the light through our eyes. Light is the currency we see with. And light and life kind of reflect our matter and spirit. And just as plants, we also need sunlight. We call heliocentric. We go towards the sun in order to thrive. So a lot of the news reports that say we need to avoid light, we need to use a lot of sun lotion, we need to cover our body. A lot of fear out there around it. Now we have to be sensible. We have to know, when we can expose ourselves to light and color, but it's a food. The pineal gland needs light, and the pineal is the master gland of the body. The pineal entrains the pituitary, the thyroid, the thymus, the pancreas, the gonads, the adrenals. Light also stimulates the mitochondria, which is the battery pack of the cell. What's happening today with the pineal gland is it's becoming calcified. Why? Well, partly because of all the EMF pollution, partly because of glyphosate. There's a lot of reasons why the pineal is becoming calcified, even fluoride in the water. All right, here's a research study. Dr. Ibrahim, Associate Professor of Anesthesiology at the University of Arizona, has found giving patients green light has reduced their migraines and fibromyalgia. There's a lot of reports out there that doctors are giving light as a way to reduce some of the symptoms. So light is something that guides our eyes. It guides our physical movement, our physiological function, and the pupils are the gatekeeper. So when our pupils are dilated, more light gets in. When our pupils get smaller, that controls how much light. It reduces the light. And so light is a two-way street. It goes into our eyes, and it also is projected out. For most people, they're not projecting the light out very well. Okay, they're able to take it in, but there's a lot of obstacles like cataracts, glaucoma, macular degeneration, and other eye conditions. When you wear a nearsighted lens or a farsighted lens, even in contacts, or you wear sunglasses, it blocks the light. So in 2016, I got a job teaching at the Esalen Institute, and I was running month-long retreats. It's called the Legacy Program on vision therapy. And one of the research projects I did, I used an instrument that I bought called the gas discharge visualization technique. I got this from a Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, who is a professor of biophysics in St. Petersburg, Russia. Happened to be visiting Santa Fe. I met him, and I then ended up buying his camera, which scans the body through the fingertips, and it gives us, through the software, pictures of our energy fields, our chakras, and our acupuncture meridians. So what you do is you put your finger on the camera lens. It's a glass plate, and there's a very mild electrical charge that comes through the glass plate, which creates a photonic emission of your fingers. So the fingers are the endpoints of your acupuncture meridians. So we would do the right hand and the left hand with the camera. It was connected to a computer, and you would see these fingertip photonic pictures, and then the software converted it to body energy fields. And I had a group of 25 students that we researched, and we would do before, and we'd see lots of holes in the energy field, lots of spikes in the energy field, and I did color therapy on them. And we did something called the rainbow method, meaning we gave them all the colors, We did it for 7 days. We did it twice a day. The length of the color therapy sessions, each subject looked through each of the colors for 2 minutes, and the colors we used were basically red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and magenta. So we did a morning and evening session. And initially I measured each person's energy fields, acupuncture meridians, and chakras using the gas discharge visualization camera. And at the end of the study, when we remeasured, everybody increased their energy field and illumination area and their chakra alignment by 80%. So we've got a picture before where there's lots of holes in the energy field. And then after, you can see that there's less holes, there's less dissonance, there's more coherence. So color and light is a food that feeds our energy fields, and it helps us balance our chakras and our acupuncture meridians. And so the field really is kind of the first indicator of what our health and wellness is. We also measured chakras, and we found that a lot of the subjects, their chakras were misaligned. They were way off to the right side, which means they weren't even connecting to it. So it created a hole in their chakra system, especially in the lower chakras. So we look at the size of the chakra, and we look at the alignment. After we did the color therapy, much larger chakras, and most of them were aligned up now. And so just over that short period of time, we were able to enhance a person's chakra alignment. So the pupil is the player that helps us take in light. And next week when we go into iridology, we're going to talk about how the pupil reflects many different systemic and metabolic health patterns. One of the health patterns that the pupil reflects is actually our spinal health. If the pupil is not round, if it's more oval or part of it's missing, that's a clue that the spine is out of whack. There's something either in each part of the pupil maps to different parts of the spine. Very amazing. All right, so let's get back to this rainbow color practice that we're going to do. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to set up a way for you to have color therapy projected at you. And so you're going to pretend like you're in a color dome. You can either keep your eyes closed or you can look at the colors, and you're just going to breathe the color in. Now, one of the things that happens with color is that there's certain colors we might love, and there's certain colors we might feel uncomfortable with. And it's the colors that we're uncomfortable with are the ones that are going to help dissolve the habitual triggers that we get. So that we want to gain a broader range of our light spectrum experience. And this is very potent, especially when we bring the light into the eyes. And we can also do this through each eye separately. So this rainbow color therapy session is like a meditation, and I'm going to guide you through it. Again, some of the colors you may like, you can close your eyes if if you don't like them. And I'm just going to talk to you. I'm going to guide you through this as we go through each color. Now, when you do this at home, one of the things that you can do is you can work with each eye separately. So, for example, in day 1, you can patch the left eye and just do the rainbow color through the right eye. In day 2, you can patch the right eye and just receive the color through the left eye. And in day 3, you can do both eyes. Now, sometimes what we do with this is we add aromatherapy. And in some of my advanced aromatherapy classes, we actually do chakra meditations, and we put a chakra aromatherapy oil on each chakra while we're looking at the color. We also do sound healing. You can do bowls, crystal bowls, you can do, chants, you can do binaural beats. There's a lot of ways to do this. So the bottom line is that color and light is a very potent therapeutic tool. And I would encourage you to really explore it.